G'day guys, my name's Josh. You can call me JaWoodle, and welcome back to 7 Days to Die in Alpha 18, where I am back in JaWoodle Park 2 to continue building new bases, testing new things, and just generally throwing a bunch of zombie killing ideas at the wall and seeing what sticks. And today I am back to do another viewer requested base. I did one last time and actually turned out a whole lot more fun than I was expecting it to be, so I was like, you know what, let's grab the next one and test that one as well. And this one actually comes from another YouTube channel, Z-NATION FFS, or Z-NATION as I would say, because we don't say Z down here, it's a zebra, not a zebra, but either way, I assume it's Z-NATION the way that you meant for it to be said. So congratulations for you for making such a kick-ass base. I've been inundated with requests, either on Twitter, or YouTube comments, or Reddit, or wherever else people want to send me base requests. They've always been talking about this, asking if I'd seen it, and if I could have a crack at it, and see if I can JaWoodleify it a little bit. So, you guys demand, I deliver. And it's a very simple base, but a very interesting base, because it uses nothing but the simple wooden door. Nice and easy, nothing much to it, but it actually kicks the living crap out of the zombie AI and really bends them to your will. This new Alpha 18 AI is different from 17, and even like it's easily exploitable, more easily exploitable than Alpha 17 was. But I'll get to that in a second, because before I go out there and build a base out of doors, I need to head into the Hall of Legends to thank another group of superstars for supporting me in all of my zombie murdering endeavors. And today we are thanking Aaron L and North King, but there's only two in the Hall of Legends, which means, as always, the third one is up in the MVP tower, so we have to head through the slightly nicer, slightly more decadent, much more purpley MVP tower and head up to the Board of Honors to say thank you to one and more MVP. And today we are thanking Holly Hailfire, so thank you, all the other MVPs and all the legends in the Hall of Legends, which is filling up very, very fast, for all of your wonderful support. I need to actually close the door, because to be honest, it's a zombie apocalypse. Let's not leave doors unlocked and open for any decaying bastard to just stroll in and start tearing down all of those well-earned plaques. Alright, so that done, let's go find a nice space to go build. This is actually going to be a pretty big build, so I might have to build it out here in like the uneven areas, out with all of the rest of the bigger builds, and get something going out here, because even though there's a nice flat land right there with all the other bases on it, I'm going to need a little bit more space. I decided that I'm feeling pretty lazy today, and I can't bother going out there and like clearing out some more terrain, so I'm just going to build it just down here next to the rest of the bases. And it starts off, if I remember how it was described to me, there was a video on it, but it was like an hour long, and I didn't want to watch the whole video to have it all explained to me. I wanted to kind of feel my way through it, because I feel like I get a better understanding of the mechanics when I have a general like idea or a concept of what it's supposed to do, and then work my way into it, as opposed to just building something that someone else told me to build and it's going, oh look, cool, it works. I need to kind of flesh it out a little bit more in my own head. So the way it goes, from my understanding, is a bunch of doors kind of just like this. So let's not go too big straight away. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that'll be fine for me. And they kind of just stack up on top of each other like this. So far, nothing too revolutionary. Let's only go 3 high for now. The one I did see was like just stupidly big, like massively big. So, you know, you could probably do that too. And then what you do from there is you open all these up, because apparently an open wood door does not register in the zombie AI as actually being a block, so that it completely ignores it and just tries to get you a whole different way. And the way that the zombie AI works in Alpha 18 is pretty interesting, because rather than trying to like figure out that you're above them and destroy things to get you down to them, it tries to get up to you. And if there's no way to get there, then it just freaks out for a little bit and doesn't really do anything. So we can definitely use that to our advantage. Let's go over here. In fact, let's see. I mean, the one thing I'm worried about here is this is technically, well, I guess in essence, a floating base. Now, how much weight can a door support? Horizontal support, only 40. I mean, sure, I could probably use bigger ones. Like the commercial door is probably good, or even like an iron door could support pretty well. But the images that I've seen, the screenshots I've been sent, have been using wooden doors. So we'll start off with like the original concept first, the one that Z-Nation came up with, and we'll work our way up from there. Okay, so what have we got? We've got 40. We can hold 5, which means we're going to have to use wood. Let's just get wooden blocks. I know I could use the frames, but I'll get to that in a little bit. And let's just see how far out I can actually build these things before I get into any serious trouble. Because you can already see, I mean, look, we're going full anti-gravity here. We don't need gravity. Where we're going, we don't need the laws of physics. Who cares? We can just hang shit off some open doors and that will be fine. So it is another floating base, and you can, you know, take from that whatever you like. Some people like floating bases, other people absolutely detest it. This may shock you. Other people sometimes don't like how other people play the game they like. I know it's shocking and a little silly, but hey, if that's the hill they want to die on, that's the hill they are going to die on. So we only get, what, 9 blocks before it all caves in. So let's go to, what are we going to do? What's that? That's 5. Let's go 5. And then we'll go maybe another 5 out the other way, because I don't want to put too much weight. I want to go to like the full maximum weight, the horizontal support that I can use. Because I still want to put things on top of it, because after all, this is supposed to be a base. You're supposed to be able to get on top of this base and survive the night as well. In fact, let's go. Yeah, let's go maybe 7. No, we'll go 10. That's okay. We can do that. We've got materials to spare. We don't need to be stingy. So there we go. Got my platform built and up and hovering in the air, defying all of Newton's and Einstein's and everyone's laws and just doing whatever the hell it wants, because it's 7 days and physics need not apply. And the crucial part, as I mentioned it before, is that all of these doors need to be not unlocked, open. So you need to open all the doors all the way across there. Now this is the kind of the limits to my knowledge. This is kind of what the picture looked like. This is how it's been described to me. This is where my kind of guidance ends. And it looks like, I mean, it should work. I know that the zombies target closed doors. They used to target closed doors because they, you know, they're programmed to look at that and think that's the entry point, that's the weak point of the base. Let's go target the doors. I think that got overwritten with the new Alpha 17 AI, where it just looked for weak points, and quite often doors are the weakest point of a base. So I don't know what's actually going to happen here with the Alpha 18 doors. I know what's supposed to happen. I know what's been promised to me, but I don't know if that's actually how it's going to go down. That's a good shot. That was smack bang in the middle, wasn't it? Well, almost actually. Is that better? Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. So let's get that. Let's drop down onto the board. So what I think, or what I've been told is supposed to happen, is the zombies are supposed to run over here, get all sorts of confused because, physics isn't happening here. How am I supposed to deal with this? Now just kind of mingle around down the bottom here, doing whatever they like. So I'm just to go. Actually, I'll figure that out later. What I might do up the top here though, just to stop myself falling down into my own pit of misery. Let's get this. Let's go like that, and let's just bang a couple of drawbridges in, just so I can peer down and see what's happening. There we go, got that. Let's open them up too. Let's stand on top of these new blocks. Let's get some Chelseas in and see how it's all gonna go down. Spawn a couple out there, get their attention. Oh, no, I just turned the arrow off. Sorry about that. All right, how are we gonna go? One's heading off over into the trench, which is, oh no, she changed her mind right at the last second. Well, and all the others, in fact, they're all just kind of grouping together like all of the zombies in, oh shit, I need to get rid of you. Damn it, missed it. I know, I can almost hit ya. Damn it, where's my crosshairs? Oh, it's right on her. Come on, give us a spell. Right, so yeah, they all group together like all the robots in, what was it called? iRobot, I think it was, the Will Smith movie, where they all go into the dark containers and they all huddle together. That's what they're doing here, which means that my idea that I kind of had in the back of my mind of grabbing some grenades and just kind of opening up this thing and just going, here you go, darling, throw a grenade or two down there. In fact, let's go a couple of grenades. Am I not throwing grenades? I pulled the pin on something. Where did it go? Okay, interesting. Let's try that again. Oh god, that was bad. That's been, oh god, how did that happen? What's going on with my game right now? I can't throw a grenade. All right, that's a little bit annoying. All right, I don't think my camera's on up with my character anymore because I'm throwing shit all over the gaff. I don't know why, but some of them are still in their little trance down here, and the others have all taken off to run around the outskirts out there doing whatever they want. I guess they're going to the high point. I guess that's what they're trying to do. I guess that's the closest to the, like, to my altitude that they can get. They seem to like favor altitude more than anything else. Get down the hole, please. There we go. Throw a couple more down. I'm throwing off. Jesus Christ! It's like I'm trying to take a piss with a boner right now. I'm just spraying it all over the freaking joint. There we go. That went down. So that should hopefully kill them all. Yes, it did. It murdered all of them, including the one that was out there somewhere. So you could definitely make a nice little murder hole in the bottom of this. The zombies don't know how to deal with a floating base as they don't with all the floating bases. But in terms of like ease of building, the doors are definitely the easiest floating base that I've ever really come across. And it seems to be pretty foolproof. Like at no point was I worried that the zombie was going to go target some of the doors and start breaking some shit down. Is this going to give me a chainsaw? I think it will. Oh, no, some actually decent loot out of a loot bag for once. That's a nice welcome breath of fresh air. Right, interesting. Okay, so if that's the way that's going to go, how can we tinker with this? I mean, this design works well for what it is, but I've never really been a big fan of floating bases, just me and my personal preference. I kind of like physics. I like building things that look like they belong in the real world. Like the killing corridor, sure, is dumb, but it's grounded in reality. It's braced. It makes sense. You know, you look at it, it doesn't look too ridiculous to yourself. The floating bases just haven't really been my style. So if I can maybe borrow some ideas from this and put it into something else, maybe we can make something a little bit more my speed. But there's a couple more things I want to test with this floating base first, just to see, in case you out there want to make yourself a floating base, just to see what we can kind of come up with and see how good we can actually make this. One thing I just kind of realized, there's no way up on this thing. Like, how do you get up there? Do you just frame up and frame down? That's the thing, I haven't watched the whole video based on this base before. I don't actually know if there was a way to get up and down this thing. But how would I do it? I assume a ladder. Thank God the hatch elevator is now gone. That's another thing. I can never use the hatch elevator because it broke physics. You know, it didn't make sense in the world of reality, so I didn't like using it. I know it was a completely viable option. People loved the hatch elevator, but it wasn't really my speed. I didn't really jam with it all that much. So if I put a ladder in, is that going to ruin their AI pathing? Is that going to cause them to now see that as an option to get to me and come and try and knock my chops off without me having really anything to say about it? All right, here we go. Let's go over. Oh, no, let's leave my body up here, please. There we go. Pop out of that. Let's, no, get their attention like this. Okay, what's going to happen this time? Are they going to go for the ladder? Ooh, apparently not. Interesting. I was definitely expecting that to be a big liability, but apparently they don't care. So you can murder all the zombies, don't have to worry about it. Just like rapid fire, insta-kill pistol into the crowd. And then when you want to get back up here later on, after you've gone out and gallivanted around the wilderness for a little while, you can come back over here and just take the ladder up to the top, easy as you like. Interesting. Okay, that's a good sign, but it also makes me think there's probably a better use for this. Rather than your actual base, what about like an outpost? What about if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you've been like me and got distracted by a big looting run, and suddenly there's a horde bearing down on you. Can you quickly knock up something like this and keep yourself safe when the horde is closing in? And the way I'm thinking probably going to be the best way to do that is just something as simple like this. Let's kind of get like this kind of going on. Did I do that the wrong way? I think I might have. No, you're all looking good. Okay, let's get this going and build a nice little square foundation right on the base of this and see how we can put it all together. This is kind of going to be how I'm going to start this idea. We can expand on this in a second, and it's pretty simple and pretty rudimentary. It's just basically a watchtower. I mean, if you built this out a little bit more, in fact, we probably can. Let's get ourselves some wooden poles just to kind of add to it. I'm very conscious still about how much weight I'm putting into this. And after all, I'm just banging on a bunch of wood doors which don't have a whole lot of horizontal support, but something like this I feel like is going to be a much more like structurally sound design than something like that. You're not putting all of the heavy load in the middle, which is going to cause it to flex. If you're building a bridge, you don't want your main load to be in the middle all of the time. The strongest points are always where it's anchored on the side. That's why you have suspension bridges and all that kind of fun stuff. So with this, you've got all of the weight support in the middle, which is where you want it. So the horizontal support isn't quite as crucial as it may otherwise have been. I put that pole in the wrong spot. Let's go out to here. I've got the Watchtower from like the original Age of Empires in my mind. You know, I mean, those of you who played it, and if you haven't played it, you definitely should. Age of Empires is the frickin' bomb diggity. I want to build it just like that. So just somewhere like a nice little platform for you to stand and kind of shoot whatever zombies are around. So if you really quickly need to just kind of get off the ground, keep yourself safe. There's a wandering bear horde coming in and it's going to wreck your shit. You can quickly knock up one of these. After all, it's what? Like how much is a door these days? Door is secure with door. 4 bloody pieces of wood, and I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 16. So 16 times 4 is mathematics. Hang on a second. Is 64, and I totally knew that without having to do it on the calculator, I promise. So don't worry what you say, don't see outside of frame. I promise there's no calculator nearby. Definitely not currently open on my phone right next to me. So 64 bits of wood gets you that. And then on top of that, like how much is a frame these days? Like what, 2 bits of wood for a frame, and I think it's like 3 to upgrade it. So not much at all, just to make something as simple as this. You could knock this up in about 4 seconds flat, and you can just kind of chill up the top here. And I'm hoping that zombies will kind of congregate right in the middle down there. At least that's my plan. Let's open up all these doors and see if it works the same this way as it did on this big platform over here. I thought I heard something, but no, I guess I didn't. All right, let's get some Chelseas like that. Pop them all down there. Just a nice little spattering of Chelseas. Put myself in my rightful spot, get all their attention, and see what's going to happen this time. Do they go down into the center? You know what? They kind of do, actually. You know what? This would be an even better spot. If you had them, what is happening? Chels, are you breaking shit down there, Chels? You fucking what, 99? What the dick are you doing, you freaking mole? Get off me goddamn doors. Ah, interesting. Okay, it's because, so, okay, turn you guys off because you're breaking everything. It's because they see me as being above them, so they're kind of milling around here, and they're going to destroy everything mode. When it was over here, when there was nothing for them over here, they didn't really care. They kind of milled around here, didn't do anything. There's nothing for them to destroy, so they just kind of did nothing. But with this, with the Watchtower, there is something for them to destroy, which is the doors. They're just kind of breaking whatever's nearby. They're not actively targeting the doors, which is the interesting point. Only a couple of them that go into the rage mode actually hit the doors, but some of them do hit the doors, and they do a pretty considerable amount of damage rather quickly. So this idea, even though it kind of looks nice and cool, probably won't stand up to any sufficient amount of zombies. So we need to take that idea and run with it a little bit more. Running a test and failing is not a failure, it's more information we can use down the track. So let's take that and see if we can make it a little bit better, a little bit more, less zombie breakable. I'm going to work on the same kind of principle that I was, in that I need to properly support the imaginary physics we're using, properly support the weight of the Watchtower. But instead of before, where I'm putting all the weight on the middle of those blocks, so they all kind of meet up nice and evenly, so you've got like no little gaps or anything like that. Gaps don't matter. All the doors are going to be open, so it doesn't really matter to the zombies whether or not there's a gap in the side of the wall. So I'm going to go like this and put them all on the outside of those blocks. So like, the actual footprint of the base is basically the same. It's just the support's a little bit different. I'm trying to keep the zombies away from the actual doors, because maybe if it's a little bit further away, they won't actually hit them when they get a little bit pissed off that they can't reach up and get me. Is that the way I want it to go? I don't remember. Yes, it is. Okay, you go there, and you go there. We might even go... I might even make this one 3 tall as well, because why not? Extra height is usually good. And I'll open all of the doors. Rather than that one where I only open the bottom ones, I'll open all of them and see if that makes a little bit of difference. I might even test that one again with all the doors open off camera, maybe on camera if something interesting happens. Just to kind of double check the findings. I mean, that looks ugly, but hopefully we can make it work. If it works well, but looks ugly, then I guess it's okay. Interesting. So I'm running the test again with all of the doors open, and I seem to be less inclined to just randomly break shit with all of the doors open, which gives me hope for this one, because especially if I got... Oh, I need to open these ones as well. Wait, is that closed or open? I can't quite tell. Okay, there we go. Oh, no, okay. I've opened a couple of doors and closed a couple of doors, and it ruined their party a little bit. Now they're breaking shit. Right, okay, so I mean, look, it works a little bit. It's definitely not reliable, though. A couple of zombies go into rage mode and ruin everything, which is no good for anyone if you plan on surviving whatever night you may be up to. There is another Bonza, mate. You are now level 16. I haven't noticed that before. How long has that been there? I love this JaWoodle UI. Every time something happens, there's something new that I find out about it, and I love it just that little bit more. It's fantastic. They're like the stupid Aussie JaWoodle translations are just that little bit more awesome. Just that sprinkle of fuck yeah on just extra purple in the UI, and I freaking adore it. Okay, so that one there doesn't quite work, but it may be because it's not tall enough. It's not tall enough. So if I go over here, it's 3 by 4, or 4 by 4, but 3 tall. That will hopefully work a little bit better. Let's get my UI back on. Let's get some shit. No, damn it, Chelsea's pushed me off my own bloody tower. That was not how that was supposed to go. All right, let's try this one. AI on. They're gonna come in and hopefully not start breaking stuff. One of them took a swing. Let's see if I can keep their attention. You're gonna keep taking swings at stuff? Yes, you did. Oh, okay, so that didn't work well either. I think it's because all the doors are kind of opening into like this labyrinth of just all sorts of nonsense. There's no like, it's not like this where it's all nice and clean and simple. It still makes me nervous because like, look, you start banging like your workbenches and like your boxes and that kind of stuff. You're relying on having a very good understanding and like very quick calculations of what kind of weights you're putting on there. Because if you put one too many things up there, you collapse that whole deal and it will break off at the edges over here, and you will lose lose your entire life. That's if you make it your actual living base. It could be a horde base, but listen, you play how you want to. That's the way you want to do it. I'm just giving you all the warnings that I can think of. So that didn't work out very well either. Okay, maybe I need to make like a combination of both. Just expanded the doors on that one out a bit, because I reckon that had the best chance of working, so that all the doors open out and don't make this kind of labyrinth inside, this maze of doors. So open everything out so there's as much space as possible on the inside. But I think it's just sheer proximity. I think because over here, the zombies were here, and they weren't particularly close to the doors. I think that's the biggest thing. So maybe I have to make it a little bit wider. I don't know. I'll expand this one out a little bit more. We'll try that one. And just keep kind of expanding a little bit more, each by bit by bit, until we have a more stable kind of base. Because something like this, I need those extra layers of support. You know, I need to feel like I'm standing on solid ground and not just relying on like the magnetism of a couple of shards of splinters of wood. So we've doubled in size, which will hopefully give us a bit of a better shot at keeping the zombies from breaking all of our gubbins. Open up all of these, please. Gonna move rather fast. Try to open up all the doors. Which has a button. I mean, sure, I could like make these all like the powered vault doors and control the switch to open and close them on a whim. But I mean, look, the point of this is to make like a cheap floating base. If you have infinite materials, you can make any sort of base you want. Why would you resort to using wooden doors and not vault doors for the extra structural support? We're trying to make this on the cheap and trying to make it as effective as possible. And like a bunch of wooden doors and some wooden frames on top is about as cheap and nasty as you can possibly get. So that's a bit bigger. This may be, I feel like this probably might be close to the threshold before the zombies start tearing shit apart, because this was what, 7s, which is pretty bloody big, and 10 across as well. So what are we now? We're on 4. I don't know how this is gonna go. Let's get a couple of cheerleaders and figure it out. Let's get your attention, get you to come over here, please. What's that? 6 Chelseas. All right, in you come, please. You gotta come in here. You're stuck. It's too close to like the seawall out there. They're trying to get to the highest point, which is on top of that. Look, you can see like just kind of chilling over there. One of them is still breaking the doors. What? Why? Why are you doing that? All your other friends are hanging out on top of the lip over there, which is kind of nice. We could probably find a way to exploit that, I think, a little bit better than what is currently happening. Maybe there's a way to kind of like use this in conjunction with something else and get it to work a little bit better. But one mop still come over and started to break all my doors down. You son of an ass hat. That's like getting slapped in the face with a big wet pork chop when you are asking for a beef brisket. That's nothing like what I was wanting from out of that. I've moved the whole contraption out into the middle of a flat area to try and get away from the little lips that the zombies like standing on and kind of get distracted by. So it's out here. I mean, sure, you're not going to get a perfectly flat area in your game unless you're like really pedantic about building things and flattening out with frames, but whatever. We have to try and test it in isolation to get a good control before we can actually know for certain. So let's get a couple of Chelseas out here. I didn't turn the AI off. Yep, get their attention. What's going to happen with you, Mups? Get out of my body and have a look down here. Okay, well, they're still trying to get directly underneath me, which is probably why that one there works. I'm keeping them too close to the doors, which is why they're kind of getting grumpy with me and starting to break shit. However, I mean, look, they're not breaking the doors right now, but I'm just waiting for the moment. At any moment now, one of these Jeffreys is going to turn around and start taking swings at the wood doors, and it's all going to be over like a red rover. Keep on shooting, keep getting their attention. Oh, she took the swing but didn't hit the door. She's trying to swing at another Chelsea. It's a bitch fight out there. They're scratching each other and pulling each other's hair. Someone stole someone else's bangs and they got really mad about that. There's like stupid little like plastic bracelets girls used to wear in high school. Yeah, someone stole some of those. It was the black one, which is the most important one. Although they don't seem to be breaking it down, so I think in isolation it kind of works. In a pinch, you could probably use it. But I mean, probably not something I'm going to build for myself. Seeing as we're breaking physics, I built myself a little cheeky platform just to float on in the middle, right about there to try and lure the zombies in to the center. Now, these aren't blocks you can normally get. They're, wood ramp, incline filler, and corner filler, which I don't think are actually part of the normal system, the normal kind of container you can normally get. Let's go here, let's go filler. Nah, there's nothing. That kind of annoys me. You should be able to build everything that's in the game. I hate that some things are creative only or dev only and other things you just can't build in survival. You know, I've got the materials and I know what I want to build. Just let me fucking build it, mate. All right, whatever. Well, we've got this thing. We've got this floating up here. So let's get out of my body again and hang out over here. And oh, no, that's the wrong button. And get a bunch of Chelseas to come party with me. There we go. It's much easier to get cheerleaders to come hang out with you in this game than it ever was in real life. All right, there we go. They're all coming for me. What's going to happen now? They're going to mingle around the middle and I'm going to go for the doors. Doesn't look like it. It's starting to like, oh. Someone's breaking something. Who's doing it? I was about to say that it's starting to work Yeah, no. Okay, alright, that just broke a freaking door. That ain't gonna happen, not on my watch. I'll murder all of you. You break my door, I break your faces. It's like Charlie Murphy stomping on the couch. Was it Charlie Murphy stomping on the couch? No, it was Rick James. My bad. I need to watch the Chappelle Show again. It's been a little while. But they broke my door, so I murdered all of them. I was about to say that it's been working reliably enough a couple of times. I was about to say that it looks like a viable design. Just as I thought that, Chelsea heard my thoughts, because you all know girls can read minds, and she was like, yeah, nah, mate, let me just fuck up your shit real quick so you change your mind completely. Alright, cool bananas, no whackers, big knackers. I guess that's gonna have to leave it there then. So I guess really, I mean, look, I've tried a couple of different variants of this. You could keep expanding this to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I mean, that's fine if you want to do that. But at that point, you're using all those materials, build it out of iron, build something stronger, build a different kind of base, I suppose, if you want to. Because I was thinking this would be like a nice kind of cheap and nasty base. And it turns out it just kind of isn't. The only way that it's viable is if you're using this one. If you're making a floating base and you want to do it on the cheap, sure, build one of these. It's a totally workable, viable design if that's the way you want to do it. I mean, as I said before, floating bases, not my deal. I feel like I need one of those like voiceovers you hear on like government ads that tells you that it's like, it's just my opinion, not to get too upset. If anything, Josh could make one of those and bag it in here, that'd be great. The opinions being expressed here are those solely of JaWoodle and nobody else's. You should play games how you enjoy them most and not listen to how other people play them and try and base your enjoyment based on them. Games are for everyone and there is no wrong way to play them. The only opinion that matters is that pineapple belongs on pizzas, pip and pine for life. But yeah, I'll probably stick with, you know, the more grounded bases, the ones that look like they actually make sense with actual physics in reality. And yeah, I mean, look, this might come in handy down the track at some point, but I can't figure out a way to make it work any differently than this, and this just doesn't really suit me. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave this episode here. And once again, a massive shout out to Z-NATION FFS for this original design. I mean, it breaks Alpha 18 completely. Rather than the stuff that I do that kind of like tries to exploit the AI, this just flat out breaks it. So if that's what you want to do, go and be one of those. That is how you build one of those and how it works and how you should and shouldn't build that. So thank you, Z-NATION FFS, for coming up with this one. So I'll have to come back and probably read some more comments and look at more tweets and see what other bases you guys are suggesting I test out. But I'll probably come back and come and test out some of my own ones, because I mean, like, I like just kind of exploring my own weird excuse of a brain and seeing what falls out of my ears at any given time and building it for your guys' enjoyment. But I'll have to come back and pick up the gobbledygook out of my head in another episode, because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to all the patrons on Patreon who made this episode possible. If you like to make sure the like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter. If I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.